Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, when there's a lot of things legal in nature, I like to do a separate show on it because I can focus. And I want to cover some national news, but I'm also going to cover some general things as it relates to law that I think you're going to find very interesting. I'm going to cover some things like bail and defamation as well. Now, today, the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the Epstein enabler, is going to stand trial in New York City. And the news items that I'm going to cover have a common theme. And I want to just stress this to you folks as an example of how absolutely corrupt the legal system is. Always remember that Epstein was never properly prosecuted down in Miami when he should have been, in Palm Beach. Never, ever, ever. And the only thing that's getting Maxwell prosecuted is the public outcry from all of that. People, the Netflix shows and everything else. Don't think for a minute that that doesn't lead to this prosecution. This prosecution would not have happened except that public outcry. Prosecutorial misconduct. Then we have Jesse Smollett, who is supposed to start trial. Now, remember the prosecutorial misconduct on this one. The prosecutor refused to prosecute him. She finally recused herself, got a new prosecutor. Just think about that. Corrupt as hell. Celebrity. A celebrity. Epstein, a billionaire. Does that happen to people like you and me? Hell no. Then we've got the Arbery case, where the 3 murderers got convicted of murder. The Georgia prosecutor, Jackie Johnson, has now been booked on charges of obstructing in that case. This woman wasn't going to prosecute that case. The voters ended up voting her out. They got a new prosecutor, prosecute the case. Do you believe that? This woman wasn't going to prosecute that case. Then in the Rittenhouse trial, we had a prosecutor that was quick to jump the gun despite the facts and evidence to prosecute Rittenhouse. I've said this before, folks. There is no substitute for having a wise, courageous, and smart person in positions of authority. No substitute for it. You get Nimrods, you get jackwagon justice. You get corrupt people, you get corruption. One of the reasons why I'm running for freaking governor is I sit back and see it, know it, speak out about it. I feel like nobody can fight for you better than me on these damn issues. We need to reform this crap. Now, here's another example of how they control everything. You're not going to make this up. An Ohio attorney said a Supreme Court decision was based upon politics, not law. In a 5-2 decision, this guy was suspended. He said only politicians committed to maximizing the revenue of their political cronies could reach such a conclusion. Think about that. A lawyer cannot speak out against a political body of the Ohio Supreme Court. Patrick DeWine and Sharon Kennedy, no friends of mine, voted against that majority decision. Maureen O'Connor, they actually said, this is funny, DeWine said something about they shouldn't be so fragile. Justice DeWine wrote, it's okay, we can handle saying not so things. My skin is not so thin. Maureen O'Connor wrote a concurring opinion objecting to that. Saying, this is what drives me crazy about the bar. Dignity and civility. No, they want control, dignity, and civility. They want to control all lawyers. Who knows the most about what goes on with judges and the bar? Lawyers. Then they make rules that they can't speak out against it. I ran into two judges at an event recently. I walked in with them at the same time. And I like these two judges. They're good judges. And I told them, I said, you know, I'm somebody without a political party when it comes to the court system. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's really simple. I said, all the plaintiffs' lawyers are liberals who think you should get vax, support Biden, Obama. And we do plaintiffs' work. Deters Law does plaintiffs' work. I did plaintiffs' work. And then the Republican establishment is bought and paid for by healthcare, corporations, the bar, all of that. And you got somebody like me who fights for the little guy but calls bullshit on both of them. So every time I'm standing in front of a judge, that judge sees me as a pro-Trumper, or the establishment Republican judges don't like me, and the liberal judges don't like me because I'm a Trump guy. Very unique. I'm like one of the few, if only, people that have staked out that position. Here's an example of how the liberal lawyers win. Biden pushes for $2.5 billion tax break for lawyers. You can deduct the expenses immediately, even before you get your fee, according to that. How do you like that? Now I want to cover a few things that have been in the news. First, bail. AOC acts like there should be no bail. The whole purpose of bail is based upon how severe the crime is, whether or not the person is going to show up or not, and whether or not the public needs to be protected. So that's what bail's all about. That's why if somebody's filthy rich, sometimes they set a high bail, because they have the ability to abscond. I wish that would have happened to Dr. Durrani. The bottom line is bail serves a very important purpose. Now, they made the argument that these people are languishing in jail before their trials, before they're even convicted or not. Folks, 90% plus who are charged with the crime are convicted. So these judges that are setting the bail are looking at this person who, let's say they killed somebody, robbed a bank, armed robbery, whatever. Well, they're looking at them and they're saying, yeah, chances are they did this. I don't want them out on the streets again. Do you see how silly this is? The whole idea of bail is to keep that person locked up pending a trial, because he ain't going to show up. He's going to go commit another crime. And we have seen this play out now over and over again in the news. That's what bail's all about. Now, defamation's been in the news a lot because of Rittenhouse. Defamation's two kinds: slander, oral; libel, written. Defamation has to be a false statement about somebody's character or otherwise. And if you're a public figure, you have to prove that it was done maliciously. If you're not a public figure, like your neighbor, you have to prove that you negligently published it. Now, here is the best example I like to use. If I say Joe Blow is a pedophile, that's slander. If I said Joe Blow is a jerk, that's not. It has to be specific. The other thing that happens is you got a lot of immunity. A lot of immunity out there. For example, opinions are protected. If you say, it's my opinion, opinions are protected. Truth is protected. A great example of truth, and I'm going to like stinging him, because guess what? I do not have a non-disclosure, non-disparagement against Kenny Bach. Kenny Bach sexually molested two of my sisters. many years ago. By the way, I got a copy of the police report. You know what the police report says? Victims refused to cooperate. In other words, victims didn't say it wasn't true. To this day, as I'm looking at you in the camera, Kenny Bach has not sued me for slander for saying he's a sexual molesting deviant. You know why? Because it's true. He knows it's true. So if he sued me for that, I get to prove it's true. You think he wants that? Hell no. So all of you that live out in Independence of Southern Kenton County, you need to know Kenny Bach molests little girls. He also molests farm secretaries. It's a fact. But defamation has to be that. So here's what I've been saying about Rittenhouse. When they say things after he's acquitted, that changes the ball game, in my opinion. But it's going to be tough. But there's certain people who say certain things. I think he does have defamation claims. Now, I want to now cover corporate health care fraud, because that's my big mission. Butchered by Healthcare. I began reading this book. Of course, I already know everything in the damn book because I've been living it for 10 years. But I want to tell you what this is incredible. This is in chapter 2. What went wrong with healthcare? Insurance, hospitals billing, drugs and medical devices, journals and academics of medicine not being bought and paid for, mental health, the heart industry, low back pain, the Durrani opiate debacle, oncology and cancer treatment, the amphetamine tragedy, mammograms, prostate cancer, endoscopic knee surgery for arthritic pain. Corporate health care. Butchered by healthcare. Of course, the name of my book is The Butcher of Pakistan. It's unbelievable, folks. It is corporate health care now across the board. Shame on all those doctors that let them be bought and become corporate slaves. But then again, you know why they had to do it? Barack Obama and Obamacare, the last straw. The last straw. I want to tell everybody that we have sued on behalf of the estate of Peter Campisi Sr., Donald Lynch Jr., and University Hospital. Killed a heart patient and tried to cover it up. This goes on day after day after day. Just to let you know, Dr. Liebig, you're being sued next. Folks, it's going on all the time. Now, I want to let you know something else. I'm going to close with a blasting of large defense firms. Because you can trace every woe back to them. They control the bar associations. They elect establishment Republicans to office, state houses, Congress. The big law firms write all the regulations coming out of the state houses, all the regulations that come out of Congress. The big law firms are in charge of all of that crap. All of them. You know what else they're in charge of in the bar? The rules. The rules of civil procedure to make the delay of justice and the obstruction of justice. Here's another myth that I like to stick up their colon and crack it off. Do you know where most litigation is in this country? It's not hurt people. Overwhelmingly, the biggest amount of litigation in the court system are businesses suing businesses. It's a fact. Businesses suing businesses, not people having coffee spilled on them. And you know what? These big law firms, these lawyers sell their souls for that billable hour, the country club membership. Did you see the movie Rainmaker, the John Grisham movie with John Voight playing the big defense? Oh my God, exactly what goes on. You seen The Verdict with that actor that plays the diocesan lawyer? Exactly the way it goes down. Exactly. The big law firms make all the rules. All the rules. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, this is not meant to be a pitch for me for governor, but there is nobody that you know that you couldn't elect governor of Kentucky that will fight all of the evil, all of this corporate structure more than me. Nobody. By the way, I'm not anti-business. I'm anti-corrupt business. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.